In New York, the United Nations General Assembly is winding down, but not over yet. World leaders continue to speak on a wide range of issues. So what are the issues that have stood out? For a quick wrap-up, VOA's UN correspondent Margaret Besheer joins me live from the UN in New York. Hi, Margaret.
Hi, Vincent.
What a week it was, but now tell us what really stood out.
Well, yeah, very busy week here in New York. I think we all expected Syria to be an important topic on the agenda at the UN General Assembly this year, but I don't think we expected Russia to begin airstrikes in Syria. So that certainly sort of took over a lot of the attention here this week after President Putin accepted a request from the Syrians to begin targeting ISIL in his country. And we just heard from the Syrian foreign minister about 20 minutes ago at the podium, and he, of course, welcomed, predictably, those airstrikes. And he did say that the Syrian government is willing to participate in some working groups that the UN is trying to set up that would sort of deal with some issues as a precursor, perhaps, to talks, to political talks. But he was very clear in saying that these would be very non-binding sort of discussions, but that Syria was willing to participate. So that was something positive. So I think now we've seen this urgency to get the political track off the ground because we're also dealing with the migration and refugee crisis in Europe.
Yeah, because Syria is a source of most of the refugees that are inundating the borders and shores of Europe. To what extent was this discussed at the UN?
Right. Well, we knew migration and refugee crisis was going to be another very big topic here this week, and it really was. And I think that the European Union Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini summed it up when she said that, she thinks now there's a little bit of common ground to start looking at this crisis. They've discussed many things, and they're trying to look at the root causes and the root causes of the Syrian conflict. So these two things are very much interlinked. So I think it gave a new sense of urgency and perhaps political will and momentum to try and get some talks off the ground.
For our viewers in Africa, they wanted to see what about Africa will be discussed at the UN. What is the issue that stood out most?
Right. Well, Africa may not have grabbed the headlines this week, but it certainly did remain on the agenda here. We had a very important meeting on the situation in South Sudan. The Secretary General was extremely firm and urged Machar and Kiir to get the peace agreement implemented. He told them, don't betray us. The international community has stood by you. We had another meeting yesterday on the Central African Republic where there was concerns about the political process, the electoral process being derailed because of the recent violence. There were meetings on Mali, on DR Congo. So Africa was still very much front and center on the agenda here this week.
Well, it's getting closer to the end, but what is still left on the plate?
Just a few more speeches today and tomorrow, and I think that's pretty much it. Everybody's winding down. You can feel the oxygen going out of the building. All the security measures are loosening up a little. The street in front of the UN reopened last night, so that's a sure sign that things are winding down and the big shots are going home.
But I'm going to insist that you stay with us sometime next week. How about that, Margaret?
Okay, Vincent. See you next week.
All right. Thanks a lot, Margaret. VOA's UN correspondent Margaret Besheer reporting for us live from New York.